G'day scrappers, welcome to the first scrap session for 2019, and today here we've got a whole bunch of DVRs, a lot of them that were brand new, part of the surveillance pickup that I took out of the garage, so it'll be good to get rid of them today. Thought I'd take you along for the ride while I'm scrapping some out. There's a lot of them look similar, but there's a few different models, so I might just do one of each model on video, some of these smaller ones. So I'll probably start off with the small ones and then working your way through to some of the big ones and a couple of oddball ones. And we'll just have a look at what we get from inside, gold recovery wise. Basically DVRs for me, because this is part of a destruction job, it's mostly about the hard drives. Because they're brand new, the hard drives are brand new, don't have any data on them, which is really good for backup storage. And yeah, we'll just have a look at the circuit boards and see what we get for gold recovery, if there's much value in these ones, and yeah, have a bit of fun, a bit of a chat, and yeah, kill a bit of time. All right, well, let's get to it. I'll start off with one of the small ones and we'll just work our way through. Okay, so the first one we've got here is True Vision DVR 11C. So we'll give her a go. I suppose the smaller I start with, just to get the system going, get the old mojo happening. Well, looking at two things at once. Alright, so these ones here, got a couple of these. These are new. So we've got well, it's just a 1 terabyte hard drive, but it's a good one. And yeah, some of these in the DVRs, they're specially designed for DVRs because they've got to be because they're running consistently all the time. So unlike a regular PC hard drive, they just got to be running 24 hours a day. So sometimes they put a slightly different hard drive inside, one that's more suitable for video. Don't know if they're any better once they go into PCs, but I suppose they're designed for more reliability, I guess. So yeah. So, but basically all I'm trying to get here is the hard drives for my own use, just for backup stuff, and obviously to put into PCs if they need a new hard drive rather than using old data. I've got a fresh, 1 terabyte hard drive, just so it just protects any data that might have previously been in there. But mostly, aside from the hard drive, the main thing that I'm kind of interested in is what circuit boards are in there, and are they any value for gold recovery. In this case here, not a great deal. It's just an average circuit board. I'll just take off this heatsink just to well, I had a little BGA under there, so I can take off that BGA now, and it's still a mid-grade board, but preferably I'd like to keep that on. But a couple of little BGA chips here, really not the kind of board that's worth really depopulating. Better off just selling it as a mid-grade board. Some cases maybe take off the crystals, just depends who you're selling it to. But yeah, just a mid-grade board. Not a great deal in gold recovery for this one, except for the BGA that I got off. that's okay. We've got a little board, obviously the switchboard and stuff under there. It does have some okay gold pins, so I might as well have a little look at it. Just to see if we can get... Okay, so it's basically just a tactile switchboard. You know, it has got a couple of little IC chips, so we might be able to get away with throwing this into mid-grade. Might take off the little crystal. And when you're scrapping, if you're doing gold recovery and you're going for things like easy pins, like these pins can just be cut off. And if you've got a little tub or a bucket where you can throw your little gold pins in there just loose while you're scrapping, it kind of helps. So these ones here, rather than just leaving them on the board, might as well just, you know, I just get a pair of side cutters and cut as much as I can out. Right, they're not really heavily plated. But you know, it's still gold plating, and you know, if you've got a little container where you can just throw them in, you know, just something like a little tray container that you got a lid for, an old takeaway container. Just throw your, you know, your oddball gold pins in here, put the cover on, and you keep filling that up when you're cutting off little things. So as you can see, I still left a little bit here, but it's just not worth. I just cut off as much as I could. They're not like high-end gold-plated pins, but that's good enough. I've got a little bit extra value out of it. So that's that. That's one DVD and basically just a mid-grade board, or a couple of them, or a few of them. Got a couple of little ones, just throw them into mid-grade. And probably the best thing out of there is the 1 terabyte brand new hard drive ready to go. You know, sometimes it's worth just keeping these until you work out what you want to do. So you know, just keep both of the connections, and so we've got a complete little thing till you, yeah, in case you might need this one for your PC. But usually if a PC comes with a power supply and it's already got one. But yeah, all right. Well, this one I've got quite a few of. It's the Samsung SRD 443. Nice DVRs, brand new again. So with this one, I'm hoping that there's a really good board. That way, because I've got so many of them, well, I've got a handful of them, so it would be nice if there's something pretty okay. But I think in these smaller DVDs, there's not a great deal. Yeah, mostly just the hard drive. Yeah, very much the same. Very, very similar board. The hard drive, yeah, so this is what I was talking about with these DVRs, and some of these hard drives are more specialized, and even though I'm probably not going to be using them for DVRs or for video recording, you know, of any kind, I do think that these hard drives are just a better hard drive in general. Might even be better just for data storage, you know, just simply that they're designed to run that 24-hour kind of thing, you know. So here you got the Seagate video 3.5-inch hard drive, so it definitely has video on it, so it does specify that. This is yeah, again, just a 1 terabyte, but brand new, and I've got a few of these DVRs, so yeah, I'm happy with them. So I just keep these and stockpile it, even though it's 1 terabyte. They're still okay, and because they've got no data whatsoever, if I'm rebuilding older PC and I just want a, you know, just a hard drive that's big enough just to run the Windows and all that, you know, 1 terabyte is still okay. So yeah, the same kind of setup, a BGA under the heatsink, 2 little BGAs here. You know, I prefer to take off these little memory BGAs and maybe the crystals, and basically it's just a mid-grade board again. So very, very similar to the other one. With the DVRs though, because they've got all these jacks and all these ports on there, and it's a mid-grade board, you do get good value because they're very heavy. You know, all this stuff, it's all pretty much junk anyway. So yeah, it does add value to the board. You do enough of them, you know, you got some decent weight here if you're selling your circuit boards. For just straight out gold recovery, well, you got 3 BGAs, only small, some little ICs, some crystals, not a great deal, you know, a little flat pack under there, but not a great deal for you know, precious metal recovery, unless you go for all the very tiny little MLCCs and stuff. But you know, yeah, so in this case, this is much, you know, worth a lot more just selling this as a mid-grade board rather than trying to depopulate, especially if you're selling to me, because I don't generally look at depopulated boards favorably. So you know, if you start taking off some of the IC chips and even the crystals, you know, it will, you know, it won't, you know, affect it a great deal, but it will, you know, the crystals won't affect the value of the board much, but the ICs and BGA chips do. So if you start taking off ICs, BGAs, you know, you're getting close to dropping it down to a low-grade board, and it's a big difference. And so you just got to balance out and work it out for yourself whether it's worthwhile losing that value. I'll just go out a bit, or just selling the board as it is, because yeah, in some cases, especially when it comes to big heavy server boards and stuff and telecom kind of boards, once you remove the main chips, you know, you can drop value off that board a real lot, like more than what you're going to get from the chips. So just work out with your buyer, you know. Some people get a little bit confused because I show on video that, you know, how I depopulate some boards, and you know, I'll say, you know, I'll take off a few things here and there, but that's for my audience in general. It's not necessarily for my audience that sell boards to me. So it's try to cater for you know, more people. And so yeah, so I have got people bringing me stuff where they've depopulated and said, oh, but I've watched your videos and you know, you take off this. Yes, I do, and you can too, but it's a little bit different when you then sell me the boards, you know, because I get guys depopulating boards and trying to sell me the boards for, and you know, hoping to get top dollar, and then they're actually selling me the chips as well. So I'm buying the boards where the chips should have been, paying top dollar, and then they want extra top dollar for the actual chips because they've removed them. It doesn't really work that way. So this one's a Seagate. This is only a 500 gigabyte. So in this case, even though it's brand new, 500 gigabyte I just wouldn't bother with, because it's just not big enough for my use. It's not big enough for decent data storage, and it's not the size hard drive that I would put into a fresh PC with fresh Windows and all that. Sure, there'll be people that can use them, but not me. I stick to, you know, usually 2 terabyte is my minimum, but you know, I do keep some 1 terabytes, but ideally I prefer 2 terabyte as a minimum. Otherwise you just don't get much enough space there. Yeah, so same deal again. There'll be a BGA under there. I'm, you know, likely to take off these 2 BGA memory chips because they're the highest kind of BGAs you can get. They don't have any plastic rubbish. They're just straight BGAs. Good value. I paid top dollar for these, something like $80 a kilo. But other than that, still a good little heavy board. Still got this jack part here, and this part here is only going to be a low grade. So obviously it's still better than leaving it and throwing it into scrap steel, because you're still getting like 2.5 times the value. But this is not a mid-grade board, right? Here in Australia anyway, this is just a low-grade board, virtually nothing board. So yeah, this is just low grade. In the States, this would go as a mid-grade, which is really low grade anyway, because some of these boards would go as like peripheral board in the States, but that's only in America. Pretty much everywhere else in the world don't have that peripheral board grade. Yeah, again, you know, can get away with that. It's got a couple of little IC chips, so we can get away with that, throwing it into mid-grade. Got extra weight with this stuff. There we go. Still got the little tactile switchboard there we can always take out. I didn't get the last one. But once you start removing this case, then you're you know, you separating it from the steel. Then you're turning this into, you know, just rubbish plastic, you know. But, and check it out, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 screws. So I've been a little bit crook since before Christmas time. I've been pretty sick, and I'm, you know, having to go to the doctors and get tests and all this sort of stuff. So again, I've been put behind, and I'm, you know, trying to catch up on a lot of things. Yeah, just the tactile switchboard, and in this case the little pins are in this plastic thing. I'll just leave them. Nothing spectacular. It's more like a low grade board. If you had a lot of these, because there's no IC chips on there, and you brought it to me, I'd prefer these in low grade. If there's one or two, might get away with them being in mid grade. Alright, well that's 3 down. Got 3 more of these small ones, and then we'll do a few big ones. This one is a HIK Vision, HIK Vision. Pretty basic one. This one is not a brand new one, so it's just one that I've picked up from hard rubbish. So even though it's going to have a hard drive, I'm probably not interested in the hard drive. Oh, well, that's different. I like these oddball 3 terabyte hard drives. Like, I see a lot of 2 terabyte, and they're starting to see quite a few 4 terabyte, but I don't see many 3 terabyte. And so yeah, this is actually a nice surprise, and it's the WD purple. That's a nice surprise. And well, as I said, I'm pretty sure this is not brand new, so therefore there might, even 3 terabytes, there might be some good videos on there too. I like this one very much. So I'll just keep these cables on there for now. Okay, so 3 terabyte, 64 meg cache. Yeah, see again, 24/7 reliability. So it's WD Purple surveillance hard drive. So there is a real difference between, you know, regular PC hard drives and the surveillance type of hard drives, because they've got to be reliable for 24/7. I'm not sure what makes them more reliable for 24/7, but you know, they've just got to work. Yeah, and 3 terabyte. This is really nice, chunky one. I'm going to keep this one. Yeah, I like it. I like the purple, the first WD purple I've ever gotten. That's going in my like little useless collection section. Awesome. Well, I wasn't expecting that. Unfortunately, I've only got one of that brand. So, but yeah, excellent. 3 terabyte. Same deal. Always take out the little battery. But yeah, not a great deal to depopulate, but a good heavy mid-grade boards nonetheless, you know. And yeah, so when I say I take off these BGAs, that's just for my personal thing. If you're selling to me, you've got to be careful of taking off BGAs. But you know, there's a BGA underneath this heatsink, but you know, you're even better off just leaving the heatsink on and getting mid-grade value. Currently I'm paying $1.50 a kilo for mid-grade, which is okay. Alright, well that was good. That's awesome. 3 terabyte WD Purple. Awesome. Alright. Alright. There's only one smaller one left, and then we're straight on to the big ones. This one's brand new. What is it? DG Tech. Okay, this looks like a residential one. It's certainly still got the plastic on the front, but I don't think this is new. Yeah, definitely hard rubbish because the cord was cut. So I just picked it up street scrapping. Even the screws are rusty. Okay, so this is just a 500 gig hard drive. This one just going as scrap. Yep, 500 gig. Oh well, at least we've got a bonus power board in this one. Just low grade, but still better than scrap steel. There we go, just a power board. one wants to be a bit stubborn. Same deal again. Pretty much seems that all these small sized DVRs have all got the same deal. The BGA under the heatsink, the two little memory BGAs there, a couple of ICs around, but good heavy mid-grade board. Alright. Well, that was a good little start, and yeah, so far I've got a few hard drives to keep, and yeah, that was pretty good. So now I'll just clean up a little bit and start on some of these bigger ones. Okay, so one of the larger ones, I've only got one version of this model. The other ones in this brand are quite a bit bigger, but this one I didn't have the key obviously, so I had to bust into it a little bit just to get it sort of going. So these ones here are pretty good. You know, I've kept a few like in box in case I want to use them. Oh wow. Wow, this one's certainly packs a bit of punch hard drive wise. It looks like it's got 4 hard drives in it, and they're 2 terabytes, so it could be an 8 terabyte DVR. Wow, that's pretty awesome. And I know a lot of you are going to say, oh, what a shame, you got to scrap them all out, you know. Yep. This is still part of that surveillance thing, but hey, you know, I'm still getting good stuff out of it, you know. Even though I can't sell them with the, you know, as what they meant to be, I can still get value out of them. Yep. So there's two 2 terabyte hard drives in here. Seagate SV35s. Okay. Wow. It's pretty awesome, really. So there's 4 terabytes there, and I'll just keep it like this in this little caddy. Wow. Probably should keep all the cables as well. But how's that? An 8 terabyte DVR. So that's got some serious storage there. 8 terabytes must record quite a lot of video, I must say. Pretty insane, really. Little power board. Wow, they put a lot of screws in that. Just a little power board there. There's another little board. Okay, so this is all, this front part, it's nice aluminium. Well, at least we get some value for the cast aluminium here. And this board here, just for LEDs and stuff, it's got a couple of tantalums, some little gold pins, sort of partially plated. Can knock them off, throw them in my little tub. But yeah, got a couple of little tantalums and just a mid-grade. No, it's got one of these battery packs. I remember these in the other model. When I first took one of these out, I thought it was a pack of capacitors. yeah, they're just little batteries. So yeah, nice little battery pack anyway. NiCads. Don't really know what to do with these apart from sending them off to recycling. Don't really have a use for them myself. No one's really mentioned anything about what they could be used for, so they're probably not worth much. Yeah, not a bad board actually. It's got quite a lot of, you know, the little memory BGA chips. Another BGA there. There'd be a decent sized one under there. Some tanties. So some good gold pins in here, and probably in here. But not a great deal for gold recovery apart from the BGAs. But you know, once you take them off, you know, again, you're gonna devalue. You know, might just take off a few tanties and a couple of the BGAs here and there, and yeah, still a mid-grade board, but just a better quality mid-grade board. You know, you know, edging on towards a little bit higher grade. But that was good. So this is steel. This part here looks like steel. Yep. Okay. So that's just steel. Now that was a good one. And that was March 8516. 8 terabytes of hard drives. Wow, that's a lot of terabytes. So this is the standard minimum that I like to keep. And because they're brand new, they're, you know, there's no data on there or anything like that, no identifying software, so you can load these up with fresh Windows, and you got yourself, or I've got myself, some 2 terabyte hard drives ready to rebuild some new PCs and stuff. Or if I ever set up my own DVR system, I can always load it up with you know, more hard drives and stuff like that, you know. All right, well, that was a good one. So the next step up is the 4316, but these aren't as heavy, so I don't think they're going to be as good. But we'll I'll just bring the camera back out. So the only thing, one thing that stands out is this set of pins at the back here. They're really nice gold-plated pins here. Don't know if you can see them, but looking forward to getting to them. Should be pretty straightforward, this one. Okay. All right. So yeah, a bigger unit, but as you can see, only 2 hard drives in this one, and yeah, 2 terabytes. So two 2 terabyte hard drives. So they're a little bit, these are Western Digital, and this one's the Seagate, but still good stuff. And you know, I've scrapped out probably scrapped out a couple of these before on video of this particular model. Not sure if it was this model or the bigger one, because there's one more that's a little bit bigger, but I think it's just the different channels. I think this is a 16 channel and the other one's a 32 channel. So it's it does have a very, you know, large board, and that battery pack again, and so these battery packs, you know, I try to keep onto them in case, you know, someone stumbles across the video and says, oh, you know, I tell you what, I could use these battery packs for something, you know. But other than that, can't really do much else with them, apart from just sending them to recycling as batteries. But because we've got to destroy all this sort of stuff, get some value out of it, and we still get the circuit board and that, it's mostly looking at the gold recovery value. Well, here's a nice, well, at least we've got a bit of a slot card here. It's just a network card. The gold plating on this isn't very spectacular. Don't know if you can see it, but it's a very shiny, almost like a mirror finish gold. That suggests that it's a not very good gold plating, so you're much better off selling this as a slot card for you know, if you're going to scrap it, rather than taking off these gold fingers and turning this into a mid-grade, because these gold fingers just aren't that good for gold recovery. And they probably you know, if you are stacking gold fingers, that probably devalues your gold fingers by trimming those types off. But I suppose if you're selling gold fingers, then I guess it doesn't really matter if you're not going to be recovering it yourself. So yeah, nice little cases, just one in each case. So a 4 terabyte system still. So still 2 terabytes, so they're definitely good for, you know, they're big enough to have some shelf life anyway. Just a power board cleaner. But the gold pins stand out quite a bit to me. There's a bit of a backplane board here. So that's a good sign for more gold plating. Okay. And this casing is actually aluminium if I feel like cleaning it up. Another little board up here. Just pretty much a nothing board. Alright. So, yeah, this looks like the 16 channel version. And it's actually a great little board. You know, it's you know, edging on telecom grade just about. For me, I'd pay like a server grade, providing that everything's on it. You know, that I can see tantalums and everything like that. It's got a little riser board here, so that's pretty much just a nothing board. Get mid-grade for it, but we do have. See, these gold fingers are much better than the other gold fingers that I showed you. So, okay, so that's the network card. We'll just see if it sort of comes up on video. Don't know if you can see it, but this is like a flat gold, and this is like a shiny mirror finish gold. They're two completely different gold plating. This is the gold plating that we want. It's a good stuff. This stuff here, it's kind of like flashing, but it's, even if it is flashing, it's very light flashed. So a completely different ball game. This is the stuff that I prefer to sell as a slot card, and this is the sort of stuff, obviously, I'd like to keep for gold recovery. But the whole board itself is a nice board, and underneath you can see there's a beautiful little board on here as well, which has got BGAs and flat packs. Really sexy. Like the whole board, it's the back of it's pretty much blank. This is like a little daughter card. Awesome board, and it's double-sided, so it's got chips like this on the other side of this part. Really, you know, this is telecom grade there. They even got some tantalums here on the back of the board. But yeah, you know, this is edging on, you know, between server grade and telecom grade, just about. You know, even got gold crystal oscillator, and just, yeah. Not a great deal of BGAs like these BGAs here. Sometimes this one's a bit different. It might be okay. but generally they're not that spectacular. You know, these ones are really good, these ones. Then we just got flat packs and stuff, so still an awesome board, and I just love these gold pins. And check that out, you can see that really nice gold plating on there. You know, some people think, oh, that's just brass. No, it's gold plated and all the way through. Really nice set of pins here. Good stuff. So that was pretty good, actually. Got quite a few boards and stuff out of that. Excellent board there. Great gold recovery. If you go to depopulate the whole thing, you know, it's not bad, this one. And we got two 2 terabyte hard drives out of it. All right. So the next one is just the next stage from that. That's a 16 channel. I'll do the 32 channel, and then we'll then we've got a few different makes and models as well. So I'm expecting pretty much the same from this 32 channel, 4332, as opposed to 4316. But we'll just have a look. It might have a little bit, might be something a little bit different. Just got to check it out anyway. I've got heaps of these, both versions. So I just got to change the battery. So I'll have a little break and we'll get back to it. Okay, so let's try this 32 channel. Yeah, it looks just about completely identical, really. So, all right, well, yep, two 2 terabyte hard drives. Pretty much, it's a similar board. It's yeah, it's pretty much identical. So, all right. Well, we can get rid of this one. I'll just do this a little bit later. I've got about a dozen of them, so instead we'll do another version, completely different. Yeah, this one looks interesting. I think there's a couple of versions of this brand. They might be the same. Yeah. All right, there's about 5 of these ones, so this one might be a little bit better. We've already done that one, so no point in doing another one on video exactly the same. Okay, well, this one's a little bit different. The boards are kind of all similar, but this one's got a couple of hard drives again. It's got a little power supply unit too, rather than just the board. It's got the whole complete. Because these ones are brand new as well. It might be worth keeping the power supply unit. Just in case it might come in handy for something else, because it's only a tiny little one. See the power thing on it, but yeah, got a little switch there too. Might come in handy, so I'll keep that. Doesn't want to come out. Just a DVD. Very basic. Might as well. Yeah. These ones here with the new style, they just got no value. Look at the size of that board. Nothing. This is why I don't like to buy DVD, CD kind of drives anymore, because they're just there's no value there. So this board is not even worth a few cents. As a mid-grade board, they're nothing like they used to be. You know, a little bit of wire, got a little bit of motor. This part here isn't even brass, so very low value. Okay. Well, we do have some brass. That's all right. All right. Have a look at the hard drives at least. Currently here in Australia we're experiencing a pretty extreme heat wave. It's getting hot, and in the next few days it's gonna just get hotter and hotter. Some parts of the country today it's 48 degrees Celsius. Okay, so more of these SV35 Seagates, 2 terabytes, nice, brand new. So that's basically what I'm getting my value from. Yeah, not a bad board. Gosh, it's got a lot of crystals on it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 crystals on a little board. That's amazing. 9 crystals. So some people, tend to call these crystal oscillators. These are just crystals. They're not crystal oscillators. The crystal oscillators are the square type. They got 4 pins on them. The bigger ones. These are just crystals. Got a BGA under there. Again, these memory BGAs are good. These 4, and rest it's pretty much just a mid-grade board. Not a great deal there. Gold pins here, but they're a bit shiny. They're not really high quality gold pins. You can take them off sometimes if you just want to quickly stockpile it and just break them off like that, but these ones aren't really very, very high grade. But still gold pins. All right, well, that was pretty quick and easy. And don't have to worry about anything else in there. Alright, well, that's that model. Got a few of these as well, so I wouldn't mind having a look inside one of them. It also helps me determine how many I should actually scrap out, and whether I should try and keep a few. Although this one, from the back, it actually looks just about almost identical. So yeah, I don't know if there's going to be a great deal of difference here. There it is. It's definitely a different front, different cover. Identical, yeah. Yeah, very, very much similar. Don't see a whole lot of difference. Well, the board is slightly different, just slightly. Still got a nice little power supply in here. Yeah, a little bit different makeup. So yeah, these DVRs are certainly interesting, and certainly wouldn't pass them up. I'll also keep this one. Slight variation. Got these. It's a little bit different. It's got a backplane board here. Okay, that would have up to 4 hard drives slotted in. So obviously the hard drives slot in probably underneath this front cover. Slot some nice hard drives in there. But in this case, there's no hard drives here. So very much different. Oh, And in the last DVR, I actually forgot this backplane board with all the connections. Even if it's a low grade board, it's still got a lot of weight, so I want to get that out. Yeah, the only thing is some of the screws are hard to get to. So really nothing much at all in here. Without the hard drives, doesn't give us any real value at all. So yeah, it's getting very hot at the moment. I've already changed my t-shirt once and stuff. Just sweating too much. It's a crazy heat we're getting here at the moment. It's very hard to, it's easy to scrap in winter time and when it's pretty cool, and it never really gets cold here, but when it's crazy hot, it's yeah. So this one only has 5 crystals, or 6 actually. But it's got 1 crystal oscillator, one of these gold band ones. They're about my favorite. But other than that, pretty much the same board. Yeah, there's a DVD in there, but that's the board that I wanted to get out. I just have to remove the fans to get that out, but it's only a low grade board, it doesn't have anything on it. Whew. So I'll tidy this up. Okay, so I think I'll just have a look at one more. Once again, another one that I've got quite a few of. I think these ones are generic ones, so again, it looks very similar to the last couple. I think they're from the same kind of company, but yeah, they're not really a brand. They're just ones that security companies get built up. They put their own stuff in there. Alrighty. Okay, so this one, yes, similar setup. It's a step down, obviously. This one only has 1 2 terabyte hard drive, but at least it's got one. And yeah, very much the same. Again, with one of these. So all these ones with the actual complete power supply unit all come from the same kind of, from the same company, kind of generic. So, but still reasonably interesting, and you know, as you can see, there's not a whole heap of value aside from the fact that they come with good hard drives. Gold recovery wise, you know, in a lot of these there's not a whole lot, you know, of value, but well, we get what we get. What do you do? But I'm happy for the hard drive. Alright, well, honestly, it's just getting too hot to try and scrap or communicate on video any longer. Sweat's dripping off my face. It's an absolute scorcher. And the worst thing is, it's only going to get hotter today and tomorrow, and then in a couple of days it's going to be unbearable. Like I said, there's some parts here in Australia today, it's going up to 48 degrees, which is something like 120 degrees Fahrenheit, something like that. It's crazy. 120 degrees. I feel sorry for the scrappers in those towns. Whew. But there we go, guys. Just a bit of a scrap session. Scrapping out some DVRs, twin 2 terabytes. Yeah, so I've got quite a lot here. I've still got a big stack there. This was the only 3 terabyte one, and really happy with it, just because it's an unusual one for me. It might not be very unusual for anyone else, but it's the WD Purple surveillance hard drive, 3 terabyte. I just like it, the fact that it's 3 terabyte. It's just in between. That's my favorite one out of the lot. Like, for some reason I prefer to get that than a 4 terabyte. But yeah, no, I did alright. Oh well, look, I got to go inside. It's just getting too hot out of here, and well, I hope that was okay for the first scrap session of 2019. Hopefully they get better, and I'll just try and pick a cooler day to do stuff. And yeah, still going through my garage stuff and trying to make room for my furnace. Although in the heat of summer, I've got to really pick my days when to fire up the furnace as well. I not only need a cool day, I need it reasonably windy, so any smoke that starts up just blows away really quick. But yeah, that was interesting, and some interesting boards in those ones that I've got most of. You know, some really good boards here. You know, with that backboard here and the gold fingers, you know, this is, you know, like a telecom grade. And yeah, great gold pins. Yeah, so I'm happy I've got mostly DVRs like this, and they're both they're all got 2 terabyte hard drives in there. So I'm going to get some value out of there, and it'll be just good to get rid of the rest and one less thing out the way. Tomorrow I've got a pickup, and then in a couple of days I've got a pretty big pickup. So there's more stuff coming. I've got to catch up on my PCs and scrap out a lot of PCs and send the carcasses over to the scrapyard to start making more room. And yeah, keep scrapping, guys, have fun, and I'll catch you next time soon.